Today I decided, today is the 11th of May 2026. Today I decided to do a reading about a world issue that is a concern of mine. We're going to use the pendulum today. I'm going to use a pink quartz pendulum. Don't know if you can see it. It's got like different patterns in the pink quartz crystal. So, like different patterns there. So the question is Donald Trump aggression a danger to humanity? A pendulum says yes, he is. And what is the agenda of his plan is white power, KKK, Ku Klux Klan, power worldwide. So how can it stop? If someone gives them money, it may stop. So someone has to bribe them, but then people say that he has been bribed before, but the board says he wants more money. Bless me. So the other thing, what could stop him is what? Marital breakdown. So if Melania Trump files for divorce, he might stop his crazy hatred on those who are not white in complexion. Did Elon Musk influence Donald Trump to go for the extermination of non-whites worldwide? Yes, he did. The pendulum says that. Why isn't the NATO taking care of it? NATO doesn't know what his agenda is. So if NATO knew what his agenda was, which is for mass genocide, and they might just deal with his situation. I don't know if NATO fears America. Apparently America doesn't have any weapons since it's been handing them out like sweeties to Israel. And I don't know what's happened to the manufacturers of those weapons. I think maybe it's just purely automated. Because America's has floods, so if the factories are flooded with water, then they can't produce it. They have to go elsewhere to find the weapons. But if countries ban them from acquiring weapons to America because their factories are flooded with floods and natural disasters, then They won't have any weapons, right? And without any weapons, there's no wars. So what the world has to do is to boycott selling weapons to America and to Israel. But they seem to think that it's quite fun to sell dangerous things to dangerous people. So what other stuff could happen? Spirit to stop this war. Okay, marital breakdown with Donald Trump's marriage and filing for divorce. Domestic violence. What else? I guess, well, the Spirit is saying riots in America. So if there was rioting going on in the USA, that would probably stop the war, because they have to get soldiers out to keep law and order in the USA, which means that if they have their own crisis in their country with the public rioting, then they don't have the resources to go do their continuous bombing of Iran and other places. Will Trump actually win? Oh, he won't win. Wow. And what month does Donald Trump not win? He does not win in September. Ooh, what year in September? September 2026. Wow. So what's happened? What's happened is a wind change, is that? A woman, what? A woman of services, shall we say, Donald Trump visits, and apparently he's never seen again. So I'm not sure who that is. Is it his old flame? Let's see. Is it his old flame? What's her name? Stormy Daniels. Is it Stormy? Is Stormy coming back? Ooh, Stormy's coming back into Donald Trump's life. Stormy Daniels is coming back. Really? I wonder who's going to do that reconciliation spell with Stormy Daniels. So what? Something goes wrong with that. Well, he's like 90 years old, isn't he? 80. He's 80 years old, right? So Stormy Daniels is going to come back into Donald Trump's life, which might be a reconciliation spell. And from their escapades in the middle of the night, or in the middle of the day, Donald Trump dies. Wow, that's a turn up for the books. It's the board. How much is he paying Stormy this time round? Or is she doing a freebie for him? No charge. That's something to read in newspapers, isn't it, in September? I guess September's nice and warm, isn't it, to wear something thin and short and see-through. I'm sure Donald Trump would be very excited about it. Melania, I don't think she's bothered anymore. She might just say, thank God for that. I get my inheritance. As they did a prenup. I don't think he did a prenup when he married Melania. So she'll probably say, I got my inheritance, and that old, cranky old man is out of my life now, and I can do my thing and maybe run for presidency in 2029. And good luck to Melania, right? The long-suffering wife. I know the type of, like, Donald Trump. My father was just like total nutcase. I actually left home at 18 because of my father. I did my own way of leaving home, and okay, I ended my life sort of being a single parent, but I tell you what, Geminis are really crazy. Gemini men, they're bipolar. From telling you that they're going to do something, right? Just say, I'm going to pick up the trash and take it downstairs. And then 5 hours later, he'll start screaming about, why don't you throw the trash down? This is like an example situation, scenario. And it's like, then he'll start arguing, possibly getting violent, then ripping up the trash bag all on the floor, and then telling you to go pick it all up. And that outburst is just Donald Trump, isn't it? Except he's ripping up a country apart because he just doesn't like the way that people are living in Iran. There's no homeless people. There's no millions of people living in cardboard boxes in Iran. Everybody lives in their own accommodation. And he doesn't like that. So, it's like, because the structure of society look after everybody, he doesn't like that. So, in America, he has to have like 60,000 people homeless, living on the road, like rats. And he doesn't care. And most of them are US veterans. And they've had a PSTD, post-traumatic stress disorder. They don't have their faculties in their mind. They use substances to alleviate the memories that they had from being in a war. There's no medical help for them. There's no psychological help for them. There's no psychiatrist to talk to. And obviously they don't have medical care. They can't go to the hospital to get treatment. They don't have medication to stabilize their emotions. So they go to like the online street chemist, yeah, which is called the drug dealer, to go and sort out their emotional problems. Well, if America had free healthcare, they wouldn't have a problem. They probably would have stabilized their emotions, had a family, like they probably came from a family, right? Probably mum, dad, wife, children, and all that's gone. So now they're feeling even more depressed that they've got no one to help them. So they start basically self-harming. That's what it is. It's all to do with self-harming when they take narcotics and things like that, because no one wants to help them. So they start internalizing their pain, their emotional pain, and they start harming themselves, which is quite sad. If we're all humans, we should be helping each other, right? Instead of wanting one to be dead and the other one to be dead just because they talk some way, they talk a different way, or their complexion is a different shade. You know, it just really doesn't make any sense, because I tell you what, if you're dying in a hospital bed, you couldn't care less who wants to help you, because you'll even get help from Satan. That's how desperate you would be. You wouldn't care less who is helping you. And obviously if you're blind, you can't even see anyone. You just need to know someone is there to help you. So the people just accepted people for who they are, regardless of religion, colour of their skin, how much money they got in their bank. The world will be a better place to live in. I have anxiety. I see the planes flying over my home from the military planes, and I'm wondering, when will we be bombed? You know, and I emailed the government. I always told them, stay neutral, don't get involved, be like Switzerland in World War II, neutral, and no one's going to get bombed. You start siding with America and other people, you're going to end up getting your voters bombed, because the majority of Londoners vote Labour. But I don't think he wants to listen to me. So he might be out of office in the next term, and it's all because of what he had done in the past. So Stormy Daniels is probably our only meal ticket out of this scenario. Was Stormy Daniels the only person? And who? M.O. Mother who? Lilith. Mother Lilith. And what's Mother Lilith going to do? She's going to influence who? Melania. For what? Because she's a bit kinky, isn't she? Okay, Melania wants to have a threesome with what's the name? Stormy Daniels. That's interesting. It's really controversial, this reading, right? I'm just trying to save the world and save nature and wildlife, because the poor little things, no one's talking for them. No one's saying, can you help us? You know, nature. No one really cares about nature. I've seen like so many people, little people in America, what they do to animals, and then leaving the animals to suffer in starvation and dehydration. Is terrible. You know, things like that shouldn't even be on YouTube. But I guess they're trying to make people educated that people are really wicked. I mean, we don't really have that in the UK, but I think America is like really, really evil. I think I don't know, probably all the videos from the USA about this animal cruelty, I think it's the most grotesque things in my entire life to see that. And I think Americans are the most evil people on earth. If they can do that to an innocent animal, it's not done anything, just got born and wants someone to look after it. So it's terrible. I don't know how people, I don't know how they're raised. And America's supposed to be Christian country. And these poor animals are just starving, their skin and bones. And then they say, oh, we're Christians. Really? I think you make Satan cry. You're so evil, you make Satan cry. Because Satan's not even an evil deity. Because you have seduction, you have lust, you have love. So Satan isn't really an evil deity as such. You're not pure evil like humanity. If any of you Christians are out there, I'll tell you what, Satan has got more love than Christians. To do that to an animal. Got no love in your heart. It's supposed to be the Bible Belt. What you need is a good belting. You look a good belting. Maybe that's why you have all the tornadoes and storms. Because the Mother Earth is very angry. Anyway, we'll do a summary here, right? Who's going to save the world from Mr. Donald Trump is Melania Trump and Stormy Daniels. They're going to have a threesome, and Donald Trump actually dies in the process of it. Which I never thought that would happen. Well, there is hope at least. I'm sure you'll be laughing your heads off with this reading. This reading is going to be called Saving the World from Trump. And it's weird that his own wife decides to save the world. Yeah, from him. So they actually say opposites attract. And I said, I really don't understand that concept. Because I said, if you don't complement each other in a relationship, right, it's never actually going to work. You'll be fighting all the time, arguing about all the time, and you'll be distant, and it will be sort of a loveless marriage. So I don't know why people do it. I think most people may do it, but I think marriage is supposed to complement each other. I mean, my parents were married for 28 years until my father died. And their journey in their marriage was partnership, helping each other, caring about each other. And it had they had a lot of duty of care for each other as well. But my father had a compulsive eating disorder. He would comfort eat, and he comfort eat the wrong foods, which were high in salt and high in fat, and he ended up having a stroke. Yeah, ended up having 7 strokes, and the 7th stroke he was in a coma, and he died in a coma after 48 hours in 1983. So my mum, she died I think about 30 years later from heart failure and Alzheimer's disease, and she was 83, and she had outlived my father by 30 years. Anyway, we have got hope to save the world with Stormy Daniels and Melania Trump. Okay then, take care. See you on the next reading. Bye.